I want to share with you my struggles with body dysmorphic disorder by Joseph Z. Michaels. Simply put, body dysmorphic disorder, BDD, is a mental health condition in which you can't stop thinking about one or more perceived defects or flaws in your appearance. A flaw that appears minor or can't even be seen by others, but you may feel so embarrassed, ashamed, and anxious that you may avoid many social situations. When you have body dysmorphic disorder, you're intensely focused on your appearance and body image, repeatedly checking the mirror, grooming, or seeking reassurance, sometimes for many hours each day. Your perceived flaw and repetitive behaviors cause you significant distress and impact your ability to function in your daily life. For example, you're a muscular person, great shape, you then look in the mirror and see an out-of-shape, obese person. Body dysmorphic disorder and me. First off, I would like to make it clear, abundantly clear, that there is no possible way that this article can truly describe how BDD makes me feel. It is too difficult to put to words. It remains deep in my head. Let's begin. You're fat. You're ugly. Look at your chubby face. Why don't you lose some weight? You're a loser. Nobody will ever love you. These insulting words may hurt when you hear them from a stranger that you cut off in traffic or someone you bumped into by accident on the street. I'm sure most of us have even heard a family member to utter some harsh words. However, when speaking to yourself every minute of every day like a broken record, the pain and emotion becomes quite debilitating. We all have heard the phrase, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." I always found this saying to be a crock of shit. Your body is resilient, and those cuts and scrapes and bruises will heal over time. However, negative and abusive words repeated over and over will crush you emotionally and will tear you apart mentally, leading to potential physical ailments. Now, eventually that physical wound will heal itself, but those emotional and mental wounds tend to take much longer. That's if they heal at all. The battle begins. So when did this all begin? When did I start identifying with this feeling of pure disgust for myself? For me, I would say it all began around 1987. I was 7 years old and living in Queens, New York. This is where I truly started to compare myself to other kids. You see, in New York, you always had three groups of friends. You had the school friends, the church friends, and the kids on your block. I would notice most of my friends shake off the occasional joke and friendly insult. I mean, we were kids and that's what kids did. However, when the jokes headed in my direction, I began to deposit them in what I like to call a bank of self-hate. Not only did my friends joke around, but I would also receive a nice chunk of taunts from my own family. Let's just say they had a lot more ammunition to use against me since I also wet the bed as a child. They were such inspirational words and phrases. Hey, fatso, give it to Mike, he'll eat anything. He's a human garbage disposal. And the infamous, I'm going to tell everyone that you wet the bed. How wonderful, right? More deposits right into the bank. So you can imagine that hearing such endearing words of encouragement would keep me positive and not question my self-worth. Detect the sarcasm. I remember times when I would just cry myself to sleep. This is when I truly started hating myself and becoming depressed about how I looked. Now we fast forward to when I was 10 years old, and all the sadness, depression, anxiety, and self-hate deposits were adding up and accumulating interest. I grew up in a household with constant verbal abuse, and all these negative words were starting to bottle up inside of me. I had no idea that this was only the start. While in the fifth grade, we were tasked with writing assignment titled, If I Could Change One Thing About Myself. Here is the letter that I wrote at 10 years old. It reads, June 22nd, 1990. If I could change one thing about me. If I could change one thing about myself, I would change my fatness. Because if I am skinny, I could do more things. I can run faster, and when I grow up, people won't call me names. Right now, people in school call me names, and I get mad. Even my brother calls me names, and so does my sister. But if I became skinny, nobody would call me names. So That's why I want to be skinny. My teacher responded, good. Don't let people call you names. Just be happy with yourself. I am sure when you grow taller, you will become thinner. I never understood the magnitude of what I was going through at the time, but reading this letter 30 years later makes me truly sad for my young self. If I could have only gone back and told myself it was okay and hugged myself. This letter truly confirms that for 30 plus years I've been dealing with this pure hatred of myself and my body. I can't tell you how this makes me feel. With the letter written and behind me, that sentiment would continue through my adolescent years. If I could just photocopy that letter and simply adjust the date, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, all the way to 2022, those feelings would still ring true. As I continued to grow, so did my BDD. It had now taken on a whole new life. Well, because I started becoming interested in the opposite sex and the hormones were raging. I was always told that going through puberty would thin me out and that I would start growing taller. Yeah, nope and nope. I continue to be the big guy to others and the even bigger, uglier guy in the mirror. I am the actor. Now in high school, this is when my BDD starts controlling my life. Here are just a few common thoughts that would cross my mind throughout the day. I wish I could just cut my stomach off. Am I too young to get liposuction? Here are some of my internet searches. How long could you go without eating? Water fasting. What's the fastest way to lose weight? Most drastic diets. What clothes appear to make you look thinner? If I can wrap my body in plastic when I sleep, I should be able to lose weight. Trust me, there was plenty more where that came from. I could not even walk into a room without going into the men's room to make sure I was looking somewhat normal. I even had a small bag inside my backpack, my rescue bag, that contained deodorant, cologne, gum, face lotion. God forbid that I had something in my teeth or my face was flaky with dry skin. Yes, you may say that this is normal, that I wanted to look good and smell good, but this was not the case. I was scared to death to enter a room without full-blown self-inspection. Here's the kicker. With BDD, you hate how you look, so regardless of what I was trying to accomplish by going into the men's room, I would still come out in disgust. And when I couldn't look over myself, disgust, I would be going to the men's room to get the validation that I hated myself. It was always a lose-lose. As time went on, I continued to sharpen my acting skills. And once I attended university, well, I was an Emmy Award-nominated BDD actor. Soon, I would take home the award. Just don't take my picture because this is still in the top 3 things that I truly hate and that send me over the top. I will take your phone and demand that picture be erased. I can't tell you how many of my friends would say, "Are you in the witness relocation program?" I like being a tad mysterious, yet it does get very old and tiresome to always run from the camera. We are just getting started. Once I attended university, my balance with the bank of self-hate had grown exponentially. I started working in the college gym and began to hit the weights. I remember asking my powerlifting coach, "How can I drop some weight in my stomach?" He replied, "Well, if we just make your chest and shoulders bigger, then your stomach might appear smaller." Yes, I laughed. I knew he was joking, but it sounded good to me at the time. No matter how big I got, it wasn't enough. I figured if I was big and strong, that this would fix how I saw myself and I could move on. Yes, you guessed correctly, it didn't work. I still saw myself as that fat 10-year-old that was wishing to be thin. This trend continued throughout my college years. After I moved on from university and moved on from competing in powerlifting competitions, I was left with a banged up and out of shape body. My muscles started to leave me, but the fat remained. Since I could not physically lift as I did in college, I had to get back into better shape. You see the trend here? Constant mindset of I have to get better. I hate myself. The only thing consistent in my life was hating what I saw in the mirror, which never escaped me. I decided to push myself after I saw a picture of me holding my little niece. I had to make a change. Once again, I started researching all types of diets. At that time, I was working for a local supplement company, and under the owner's guidance and strong desires, I had lost 30 pounds in 30 days. I was truly happy, or so I thought. It was never enough. I now had to get in even better shape. Soon after my significant weight loss, I was at a friend's house and we had a few drinks. I did get a tad inebriated and we decided to order some pizza. This would be my only, air quote, real meal in the past 30 days. Yes, I didn't say it was a healthy meal, but I figured I can reward myself. After 2 slices of Domino's Philly cheesesteak pizza, I became nauseous. I then went into the bathroom and made myself throw up. I thought to myself, wow, that was easy. Maybe I can eat what I want and throw up after. I knew it was wrong and I knew it was harmful, but I didn't care. It was 2007, and on that day, it would be the start of my bulimia, a disease I still suffer from this day. The only time I saw any progress from my bulimia and BDD was when I went into the Army. However, soon after my medical discharge, I was right back where I left off. It's a wrap. As I stated in the beginning of this article, for someone who suffers from BDD and is now has a serious eating disorder, you will never truly understand the effects that it has on your physical, emotional, and especially mental well-being unless you have suffered as well. You then know all too well. I had suffered from BDD since the age of 7 and became bulimic in 2007. I am now 42 and it is slowly getting more manageable. I have been in counseling since 2021 and it has helped tremendously. I know I can beat this one day, and if you suffer from BDD or an eating disorder, then I truly hope and pray you reach out to someone for help. Again, this article will never do my pain justice. If you suffer from this affliction, you know that it is so hard to have others truly understand and grasp what takes place in your mind. My takeaway. This was just a snippet of what my life has been like dealing with BDD and bulimia. We haven't even begun to scratch the surface. The book I am working on is extremely detailed and gives a complete and raw look into my personal and extensive battle with mental health. Remember, there is help out there for you. You're not alone. You're never alone.